Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah Almighty, the most merciful, the beneficent. Students, today we are going to study our next topic in biotechnology and genetic engineering. And today we are going to start from where we ended. Means today we are going to start our lecture number 2 on biotechnology and genetic engineering, and this chapter is being taken from the book you are seeing on your screens, and it's a biology third edition for Cambridge examinations, and written by Sir D.G. McCann and Dave Havard, and published by Hodder Education. Okay. Chapter is biotechnology and genetic engineering, and in first chapter we studied the introduction of biotechnology and genetic engineering, and also the use of bacteria in biotechnology and genetic engineering. Well, today we are going to start the first application of biotechnology and genetic engineering, and we will study biofuels as the first example, as the first application of biotechnology and genetic engineering. So, biofuels. The term fermentation does not apply only to alcoholic fermentation, but to a wide range of reactions brought about by enzymes or microorganisms. So, we should know that the product of fermentation is not only alcohol. So, alcohol is not the only product of fermentation, but uh, due to a wide range of reactions that are brought about by enzymes or microorganisms, there are a number of other products. In chapter 12, uh, there was an account about anaerobic respiration of glucose to alcohol or lactic acid that was described as a form of fermentation. So, we have already studied, we know that glucose is converted to alcohol or lactic acid during fermentation. Okay, so here we have found another product in addition to alcohol, uh, that is lactic acid. Microorganisms that bring about fermentation are using the chemical reaction to produce energy which they need for their living processes. Microorganisms, we studied that organisms, systems, or processes are used to get products for the welfare of mankind, to produce products for the welfare and benefit of mankind. So, microorganisms that bring about fermentation are using the chemical reaction to produce energy which they need for their living processes, for their own life processes. The reactions that are useful in fermentation, biotechnology, are mostly those that produce incompletely oxidized compounds. So we should know that the reactions that are useful in fermentation or in fermentation biotechnology are mostly those that produce incomplete oxidized compounds. A reaction that goes all the way to carbon dioxide and water is not much used in this context. So we are not interested in complete oxidation of glucose. That is not our subject, because as a result of complete oxidation of glucose, uh, that leads to the production of carbon dioxide and water. So we are not much more that we are not more interested in these products. Rather, we are interested in products like ethanol, like lactic acid, and some other substances that are the incompletely oxidized compounds of the fermentation process of glucose. The microorganisms are encouraged to grow and multiply by providing nutrients such as glucose with added salts and possibly vitamins. So, what we do, uh, microorganisms are cultured in labs, in microbiology labs, in biotechnological processes, in genetic engineering techniques, and are encouraged to grow and multiply. And how they are encouraged to grow and multiply by providing nutrients such as glucose and with the addition of salts and possibly vitamins. Oxygen or air is bubbled through the culture if the reaction is aerobic, or excluded if the process is anaerobic. An optimum pH and temperature are maintained for the species of microbe being cultured. So we take care that there should be an optimum pH, there should be an optimum temperature for the species that is being cultured to get fermentation products. In chapter 21, it is pointed out that ethanol produced from fermented sugar or surplus grain could replace or at least supplement petrol. So we have already studied, we already know, or it was in chapter 21, that ethanol could be the alternative for petrol as a fuel. Brazil, Zimbabwe, and the USA produce ethanol as a renewable source of energy for the motor car. Since 1990, 30% of new cars in Brazil can use ethanol, and many more use a mixture of petrol and ethanol. So Brazil, Zimbabwe, and USA are the pioneer countries that are using ethanol as a renewable resource of energy for the motor car. What are the renewable sources or resources? These are the resources that are used again and again. And since 1990, 30% of new cars in Brazil can use ethanol, and many more use a mixture of petrol and ethanol. As well as being a renewable resource, ethanol produces less pollution than petrol, so it is also another advantage in addition to supplementing uh, the use of petrol, that ethanol produces less pollutants. However, biofuels are not yet economical to produce. For example, the energy used to grow, fertilize, and harvest sugarcane, plus the cost of extracting the sugar and converting it to ethanol, uses more energy than the ethanol releases when uh, burned. So it means that the input is high, with while the output is very low. So energy is used to grow, fertilize, and harvest sugarcane. Okay, we need energy to grow sugarcane. We need energy to fertilize sugarcane. We need energy to harvest sugarcane. Plus, the cost of extracting the sugar and converting it to ethanol uses more energy than the ethanol releases when burned. So here it is not economical. In addition, there are also environmental costs, some of which will be outlined in chapter 21. So, there are some other environmental costs that we will be studying in chapter 21. Forests are being destroyed to plant soybeans or oil palms, removing the habitats of thousands of organisms, some of which, such as the orange putin, are on the verge of extinction. So, uh, forests are being destroyed to plant soybeans or oil palms means monoculture is being promoted, and deforestation is very much on the rise, and this deforestation is causing the habitat destruction of thousands of organisms, and some of these are on the verge of extinction. Another biofuel, oil from rapeseed or sunflower seed, can with suitable treatment replace diesel fuel. So there is another biofuel that is obtained from rapeseed or sunflower seed, and it is a suitable treatment that can replace diesel fuel. It is less polluting than diesel, but more expensive to produce. So the same problems, that these are not yet economical, these are very costly, and well, efforts should be uh, here to find such pathways that produce less expensive or economical biofuels. And today we study the use of or role of biotechnology in biofuels. Well, students, we studied that alcohol being used as an alternative for petrol, or in some countries it is being used along with petrol, and there are some advantages, but there are many more disadvantages. However, scientists are trying their best to find such solutions that are helpful for humanity, that can serve humanity. And well, this was all for our today's lecture. So thank you. Keep taking care of yourselves, your parents, your family members, your fellows, and thank you. Allah Hafiz. Thanks. Take care of yourself.